Okay, we're back in the studio with Angela Fecto, her son Judah, her husband Peter behind the scenes doing the engineering. 3 books, Judah, best for boys, 9 to 14. This is a Renaissance collection. 3 books, The White Knights, The Golden Thread, and Hand on the Bridle. Have you read White Knights?
Yes, I have. It's held me in the car for 2 hours.
Really?
I was reading it.
This is a book about spiritual what?
Spiritual warfare.
Spiritual warfare and
Oh, yeah.
spiritual knighthood.
Yes,
Yeah,
especially.
and I love this story because it teaches boys 3 main things. 1, to be the protector of a damsel in distress.
Yep.
You know, we don't have a lot of boys growing up looking out for young
No.
girls.
I don't.
You know, and I think that's important.
It's quite the opposite.
Yeah, the way kids treat each other today.
Yeah.
I think boys need to grow up seeing themselves as knights, you know, and looking toward protecting young girls,
Oh, yeah?
because that's going to set the precedent for their life when they're older, when they're going to meet the woman of their life and marry somebody. You know, so protect the damsel in distress, and guess where they start? Protecting your mom and your
Yeah.
sisters. Okay?
That's the best way to start.
Then protecting the weak.
Yeah.
We're just learning this in the book of Deuteronomy, that one of the key character ingredients of a leader in Israel was him protecting the weak and the vulnerable.
Wow.
That was what made a true king. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, new king was supposed to write out all the words of the law, and he was to do that, and he was to keep it in his heart and mind all the days of his life, so that he would not think of himself more highly than his brothers.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, God wanted, and then there's all kinds of laws in there of protecting women, protecting children. The weak and the vulnerable were to be protected by men. The White Knights, I believe, does that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a mom that I know that wrote a lot of the special sections of this book on their boys' bedroom wall.
That's so cool.
Isn't that? Okay, Golden Thread. This is going to be an illustrated book soon. It's also one of my wife's favorite books, The Golden Thread. He is the king's son, and he's got to hold on to the golden thread. If he lets it go, then he's going to get lost forever, and he's going to end up in the evil king's kingdom.
Whoa.
And he lets it go because he sees this deer that's a trophy deer, and he goes after it. He lets go of the golden thread. Now, the golden thread is a spiritual metaphor of the Word of God, the truth of the Word of God. What a story. I can't wait till we do this in illustrated form, and we're going to do it in an audio drama as well.
Wow.
Last but not least is Hand on the Bridle. Have you read this one yet?
Not yet.
Okay. This one, when I was your age, if I had read this story, this would have saved me from years of misery, okay? This is a story that deals with stubbornness. It's a 12-year-old boy, and boy, is he stubborn. And of all the stories I think I've ever read, I think this one just kind of smacked me the most, because I realized that, you know what? If I had just humbled myself as a young person, God would have lifted me up. I didn't have to go through those years of sin. You know, and this is a story not only about humbling oneself, but it's a story about placing yourself among your peers and letting them think of you as weak when you're really strong.
Wow. Wow.
Can you imagine?
That's
There's this group of kids, and to be a part of the group, you have to drink liquor, and you have to smoke, and you have to swear. Those are the 3 rules of the group. And all the kids are in this group. Now, we might think that doesn't sound like a Lamplighter book, but you know what? That's real life.
Right.
You know, kids today, they get out, and it takes one kid to spoil the whole bunch, and all of a sudden, that's the tendency. You know, kids tend to think that they become adults if they can curse, if they can smoke, or they can drink.
Right.
Now, that's only a small section of the book. It's only actually 1 page. Okay, just 1 page of this amazing story, and it's a mystery too. There's a mystery person. He wears dark glasses, and you don't know who he is, and I'm not going to tell you who he is, but when I got to the end, I didn't know who he was until the very end, and I'm like blown away when I realized who this really is. You're going to love this story. You're going to want to read it right away.
So this sounds like it's adventure, it's lessons, and it's mystery.
All of
in
the above. But what this boy has to do is he refuses to drink, smoke, and swear. Okay? All he's got to do is say 1 swear word. All he's got to do is just touch the liquor to his tongue. He doesn't have to even drink it. Just got to touch it to his tongue. and he doesn't have to smoke the cigarette, just got to put it in his mouth. Okay, so you would think like, that's not that big a deal. Okay, so he won't do it, and guess what they do? The gang gets him, and they tie him up, and they bring him down to the seashore, and they leave him there. And the tide is coming in, and they said, if you don't change your mind, you're going to drown.
Oh my goodness.
And so he's tied up down there as the tide's coming in, and the boys go out to their hut, and they're kind of waiting, and they've got it timed perfectly. They know when the tide is coming, and they're just going to wait to the last possible moment to go and rescue him because they don't really want him to get hurt. And all of a sudden, the leader of the gang, and these are just kids, and he says, no, we're going to wait a little bit longer. Let's let him get wet. And they wait a little bit longer and a little bit longer, and they go, okay, let's go get him. And they go, and the tide came in farther than they thought, and he's gone. He's been in prison all these years.
We need to read this.
He just got out of prison, and he's here to tell these kids, it doesn't pay to go in the direction that you're going.
It's so good.
What a story.
Wow.
Hand on the bridle, golden thread, white knights, the best for boys, 9 to 14. Go to lamplighter.net to see these amazing stories. This is a collection for 9 to 14 boys, and you could also go to lamplighter.net/promo. Judah, Angela, thank you so much for being here again.